Welcome to the Socially Delightful Podcast. If you have been feeling lonely recently, if you have not been feeling as valued by your friends as you want, you haven't been feeling as connected, I hope this podcast really helps you. I'm going to be going over the 7 beliefs that have consistently made me 1,000 times more connected. And dare I say, when I am thinking these beliefs, when I am really having them in my mind, I am more charismatic. So I think you all are going to really like this. I think belief number 5 might be everyone's favorite, but let me know which one of these really hits you in your gut. So before we jump into everything, I want to start by saying my intention for this episode, because I have just been seeing it everywhere. There's excuses to cancel plans. It's almost glorified, I feel like, with a bunch of memes and stuff of just stay home, just stay home. And all of the advice is it's okay to say no. And that's valid, important advice. But then I think we end up in the situation where we're just feeling lonelier and not energized to go out and connect. So my intention for this episode is, 1, for you to feel more energized to go out there and to connect with people. But 2, my other intention for this episode is that we all have negativity biases. Our brain has a negativity bias. It's just the way we're wired. Nobody, shits rainbows and sunshine. Yes, there are positive people, but for the most part, everybody's got a negative bias. I say for the most part, yeah, because we have critical thinking here. You can understand what I'm saying. But we have a negativity bias. And I think when we live in a world that is so socially isolated, truly, we all live in separate houses. Now we all work from home or have a hybrid situation. Being around other people and being in community and being in a public square and seeing people, it really isn't as common as it once used to be. And it's become a huge mental health crisis. I have a new mentor, which I'll tell y'all about at the very end of this episode, something really exciting that I'm working on. Y'all, I think, are going to be oh, Gasparella, it's so cool. So I'll tell you at the very end of the episode. But my new mentor is a therapist who also did work with Brene Brown, which how cool. Me, 6 degrees of separation from Brene Brown. Oh my gosh, I'm amazed. But my new mentor says that connection is the foundation of mental health. And I was like, yeah, that's it. So with us in a world that's so socially isolated and lonely, it makes a lot of sense that there would be a lot of people that are feeling unvalued by their friends, that are not feeling as important. And so I want you to hear these 7 beliefs and just have them in your frame of mind, be aware of them, because I think they will really help you challenge your negativity bias. Because if we live in a world that's socially isolated, separated from each other, where more people are feeling lonely, and we have this thing in our brains that is wiring us to look more on the negative side, that's a recipe for poor mental health. That is a recipe for just looking at, here are all the ways that I am not important to other people. Here are all of the ways that I don't belong, right? Here are all the ways that my friends don't care about me. And then you add social media to this horrible recipe. And we're seeing oh, look at all of those people that are having fun with their friends and making their memories. And oh my gosh, this bride, her bridesmaids did this huge thing for her bachelorette to make her feel so loved. Shoot. Right? So those are my 2 goals with giving you these 7 beliefs, is helping you challenge your negativity bias to look for more connection in your life so you can feel more valued and important. My other goal for this episode is for you to hear these 7 beliefs and feel more energized and ready to go connect with people. And dare I say, even more charismatic. Yep. So let's get into them. The very first belief that I hold close, that I keep, in my back pocket, is people are always investing in me. People are always investing in me. And right off of the bat, we're starting off strong. And some of you might be like, Jewel, but people aren't always investing in me. Y'all, I have been helping people with connection, social anxiety, friendship, and charisma for the past 5 years. I have worked with people in Germany. I have worked with people in Alabama, Utah, Hawaii, London, all over. There's a country I'm missing that I really want to name, but I don't know. The other one I can think of is Canada. Anyway, I've worked with people all over. I've done this a lot. I've had a lot of clients. And a lot of people have said that to me. Jewel, people don't invest in me. Nobody reaches out to me. Nobody reaches out to me. Right? And I always tell them to do this thing. So if you immediately are like, Jewel, these beliefs are not going to work for me, stay tuned. Number 5, again, might blow you away. Stay tuned. Stay with me here. But if you were starting off really strong and you're like, I can't think that, I can't practice that, I want to then turn this belief into a challenge for you. And I want you to challenge yourself to look for all of the ways that people are investing in you. Whether it's a really warm welcome, a quick message, whether they are sharing time with you, right? Somebody's really listening to you, taking a time to really make sure you finish your story. I want you to make a huge list, and you could do it right here, right now. You can even pause this episode and say it out loud. What are the ways that people have invested in you recently? Every single time I have had a client do this, I have also had them list all who's reaching out to you, who's putting effort into you. List all of those people. They have always, every single time, y'all, I've given this challenge to a lot of people. Every single time they always come back and they're like, oh my gosh, I was missing all these people, Jewel. Oh my gosh, you're right. I was missing all of these people. Because again, our negativity bias, if we're just looking for the ways that we are not being cared for, that people aren't reaching out to us, that people aren't investing in us, that's all we're going to see. And we're going to miss the people and the ways that people are investing in us. So this perspective helps me see love and care everywhere, even in the smallest moments, like believing that people are continuously investing in me. I did this challenge, honestly, y'all, for myself today. It's one of my favorite questions to just ask myself, because feeling connected is just that. It's feeling connected. And in this world, we got to fuel it. And this week I worked so hard on this new project that I'll tell you about at the end of the podcast. But this week I worked so hard. So I was like, okay, girl, let's fuel you. Let's give you some feelings of connection. I literally asked myself this question today of, how are people investing in me? And one of my examples, y'all, was I asked 2 of my friends if it was possible for me to host a birthday celebration for me at their place. And they both were like, oh my gosh, yes, anything you need, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, those people are, making me feel loved already. My birthday hasn't even happened yet. Because they're like, yeah, I'm here for you. I got you. Their enthusiasm about it is their investment in me. So I really want y'all to look and challenge your brain in this way. It's easy to miss these moments and to miss how much people care about you. Okay, number 2, belief number 2. I don't have to be perfect to be loved. Y'all, if you have seen me rant on social media about this, if you have seen me do it, it's for good reason. It's for good reason. Psychologists have actually determined this. They've called it the beautiful mess effect. So when somebody messes up or says something that's vulnerable, whether that is like, oh, I'm confessing feelings to you, even if that person doesn't feel the same way, they're like, oh my gosh, which not just because it feels good, but they're like, oh my gosh, thank you, right? The beautiful mess effect is, here, let me share something vulnerable with you. The person that is on the receiving end of us sharing our vulnerabilities, of our imperfections, they like us more. They like us more. We do not have to be perfect to be loved. People want to see our vulnerabilities. We feel connected through imperfection. If you've been a listener of this podcast, you have heard me say it before. You have heard me say it before. Imperfection creates connection. When we share our imperfections with other people, we take ownership over them and we're like, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I'm working on. When we do that, we give other people the opportunity to have the most connective thought possible. And that thought is, oh my gosh, me too, same, me too. So I don't have to be perfect to be loved. Showing up as you are, vulnerabilities and all, is what truly invites closeness and authenticity. It's what truly invites closeness and authenticity. All right, belief number 3. My people want me to feel loved by them. This belief is a reminder for me to stay open to the support that other people offer without questioning its sincerity. It helps me feel loved when my people aren't around, which again, I've been hard in the paint recently, this past week, working. And it helps me feel loved when my people aren't around. And it also helps me be more honest about my needs as well. So my people want me to feel loved by them. And the key phrasing in this too is my people. And I think we're obsessed with trying to figure out who's our real friends. Like as a society, we're like, then if they do this, they're not your real friend. If they do this, they're not your real friend. I don't want you to have to like sit here for a minute and be like, who are my people? But just know, you have people that want you to feel loved by them. You have people that want you to feel loved by them.
I love you, bitch. Oh my God. I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
Recently, I made a new friend, and she doesn't have to know that I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to like become closer. Let's do that. I want her to feel loved by me. I want her to feel supported by me. I want her to feel connected with me, right? So just that belief, that frame of mindset, my people want me to feel loved by them. Think about it. Think about your friends, the people in your life. Do you want them to feel connected, supported, and loved by you? Even if they're not in the room right now? Yes, you do. Okay, number 4. I can always give the best gift to myself and others. The gift of being seen. Truly, y'all, sometimes, arguably a lot of the time, the most meaningful thing we can do for each other is to be fully present for both ourselves and others and practice seeing each other. Now, I have a podcast episode coming up on how to feel seen and how to make others feel seen, which we will dive more into if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't really know what that means. But what I am going to tell you right now is that feeling seen by somebody is, hey, I see you in your pain. I see you in your experience. I see you and admire you for the ways that you are striving in this world. I see you as a person. I really think this is why I actually liked the Avatar movies with the blue people. Because instead of saying I love you, they would say I see you. I see you, I recognize you, I value you.
I see you. I see you.
I see you in your strength. I see you in your striving to be a better person. I see you in who you are in your character in this world. And it's the best gift that you can always give yourself and others. The gift of being seen. More on that later. The next 2 beliefs I think y'all will like. I do. I really do. Like, the last one might challenge some of y'all, but I think you'll like 6 and 7. But number 5, I think might really blow you away. So number 5, the 5th belief is I am complimented, adored, and loved more than I ever know. Y'all, I am complimented, adored, and loved more than I ever know. Just as I cherish others in quiet ways, just as I am like, oh my gosh, you would love her. She's amazing. She's kind and she's sweet and she's strong. And I'm so proud of her and so inspired by her for doing X, Y, and Z to other people. As much as I cherish others and I'm like, wow, that was really inspiring what my friend did. Or wow, I'm so grateful for this friend. Or wow, we had such a nice time such a nice moment. Like, that was really nice. As much as I do that and I cherish others, there are countless moments of love and admiration directed towards me that I may never ever hear. And it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet to know that some of us are loved more than we will ever realize. And it also brings me comfort to know that this love exists even when it goes unspoken to me, or just even unspoken in general, right? I know it's gonna blow you away. Think about it. Think about how many conversations, how many thoughts that you have been mentioned and loved and adored and complimented, like and that you'll never know. You'll never hear those things. Even if somebody's like, hey, I was just talking about you the other day. So and so and I were saying, oh my gosh, isn't it amazing how you did X, Y, and Z and how you are A, B, and C? Even if they say that to you, you're still missing out on some of the words and the feelings that they had when they said it to a different person, when they said it to so-and-so. You were loved, complimented, and adored more than you will ever know, y'all. Ooh. That one really struck a chord within my body. Like, really felt a little emotional. You are complimented, adored, and loved more than you will ever know. Okay, number 6. Inviting others to connect feels warm and good inside my body. So often, we are afraid to put ourselves out there, quote unquote. We're afraid to send a double text and be like, hey, I still really want to get together and get coffee with you, boo. Like, when are you available to do that? Right? We prevent ourselves from connection all of the time, I think. All of the time. There are so many things that we're doing to stop ourselves from that moment because it's a little bit vulnerable. Or sometimes this comes up a lot of like, well, what if they don't like me back? And then I'm just wasting my energy offering connection to somebody that doesn't want to connect with me. And here's what I want to offer. That by you extending the invitation, you get to feel good no matter what, no matter if they accept it or not. If you have a little invitation of love, there's even like a little heart sticker closing the envelope on this invitation, you have a little love invitation. That feels so good for you to hold and for you to send that it doesn't matter if you get an RSVP check yes back. That felt so good for you to do. And yes, sure, the moments of rejection are hard and not fun. And then there's possibility you might be rejected. Look, I'm not ignorant, okay? I know that. I know that. I want to offer another thing, and that is rejection is not nearly as common when it comes to friends than you think it is. Truly. The worst case scenario for some friends is that they just don't get back to you or don't get back to you for a while because they have other priorities or their connection buckets are already full with their people. That's not a rejection on you. And again, it's actually really rare that they're like, no, not interested. The risk of rejection here is so low. Invite others to connect with you. It feels warm and good inside your body. You get to have fun by inviting other people to connect. Okay. And more on that one in other episodes, I'm sure. Number 7. I like going first. When it comes to showing warmth and vulnerability and appreciation, I remind myself all of the time that I can take the first step. I'll go first because creating a space of openness and inviting others to feel safe, to do the same, to be vulnerable with me. I mean, I can't think of a better thing to start, right? With our loneliness epidemic, with our lack of meaningful connections, most people want their friendships to be more meaningful, by the way. Most people say that. Most people want their friendships to feel more meaningful. A lot of people are feeling like they don't matter. Okay? In this world, we gotta change some things structurally to set ourselves up for more connection. We gotta. But we also have to change our culture. We have to make our culture more connective. Like, I see this online a lot about like being a community and being a villager. And I think for some people, being a villager, like if you want a village, you got to be a villager. I think that feels so intimidating and scary because we don't have a culture of connection. But by you saying, you know what, I'm going to be a villager first. You know what, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to extend warmth, vulnerability, appreciation, and invitation to connect. I'm going to go first. I want y'all to all be so proud of yourselves for doing that, for choosing to go first, because you are helping create a new culture. That is what it means to create a new culture, to change dynamics, to make it easier for other people to show up and be villagers in your community as well, is by deciding to go first. I like going first. And that little word in there is really important too. I like thinking of myself as an inviting person and going first. I like offering an invitation for somebody to connect and therefore feel more comfortable with me. Again, they don't have to accept it. They don't have to return the RSVP with a yes that they want to connect. But I like offering that space. When you think this way, y'all, I truly think this is what has really allowed me to step into my authentic charisma, especially as the years have gone on. Because y'all, one thing, just side note, my partner said to me was that attracted him to me was how present I was. And he used this word, which I love. Oh my gosh, I'm bragging about myself now. But he said I glowed. And I was like, wow, years ago, I would have murdered. I would have killed for somebody to describe me that way, to say that I glowed. And I was thinking about it and I was like, what was I doing when I met my partner that would make him say that? Oh, I was being really inviting. I was like, hi, welcome. So happy you're here. And it was genuine because it's genuinely how I felt. And one of the beliefs is because I like going first. I like creating a space because it does influence a space. You become magnetic. You become somebody who influences the room when you think I like going first. And you don't have to be the loudest person in the room or the person that's always the center of attention or the funniest person in the room to have this thought and to take on some of this identity. You do not. Some of the quietest people, and I mean like literally like soft-spoken quiet people, I have seen do this and truly become the most charismatic person in the room, where everyone is like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I don't want to say names just in case. I'm just going to say Jay. Oh my gosh, Jay is here. Jay is here. Jay is here. This is a real person in my life I'm thinking of, where he is soft-spoken and he's quiet, but he's present. And he'll walk around the room and do one-on-one interactions. And he'll be like, how are you? How are things going? He'll go first in offering that and offer warmth to you. And he's soft-spoken. He's not the person like cracking the loudest jokes, but everybody in that damn room adores him for doing that. I like going first. So y'all, I hope these beliefs really help you get out of that negativity bias. I hope they help you feel more valued and connected and allow you to show up as a more charismatic version of yourself. Just because when I say being charismatic, being somebody that's charismatic just means being somebody that's like quick to connect with people, that can connect with people quicker. And by doing the beliefs, by acting from them, these 7 beliefs, you will do that. You will be a more charismatic person. Now, I also want to say a project I've been working on. I've been working on 2 projects actually. I am now interning at Social Prescribing USA. I'm so excited. Y'all, I worked pretty hard for this internship. I'm so excited about it, and I'm going to be working really hard in this internship. So social prescribing is an episode, a future episode that I will definitely do. But it's just as it sounds, providing people with social prescriptions, community-based, non-medical interventions to help with things like anxiety, depression, PTSD, even other things like chronic pain. So there are things like art classes, nature walks, stuff like that. And we have tons of social prescriptions already in the US. And so I really want to work with Social Prescribing USA to help make it more of a system and to help make it more part of our healthcare. which I know we have a long way to go with our current administration, but still, that is my goal. That is the work that I'm going to be doing. I've been working so hard at it. And the one thing that I will say is that I can change this structure and help change it systematically with social prescribing. And I can advocate for, like more carless communities and communities where people can be together. And y'all, we have an epidemic of perfectionism and social anxiety and people being hard on themselves. And so this is where things like these beliefs really like take that structure and fuel it to be a more connective place. Because I don't know about y'all, but I've been to a lot of events, like networking events and so on, that don't feel very connective, right? So my goal is to hit it from from both sides. Let's influence and create more of a culture of connection, and let's do things systematically. So that's what I've been working on. The other thing I have been working on is I have been working on speaking to colleges. Hopefully, it's not like signed in writing yet, but hopefully I will be speaking to 4 colleges this year. I got 4 bids, if you will, of people wanting me to come to their schools, which is very exciting. But I'm also working to help the next generation create more of a culture of connection, which is very exciting too. So I got a lot going on, and that is why this is my last year of doing one-on-one coaching, especially in the caliber that I have been doing it, where I've been doing this full time with like 15 people at least, normally like closer to 20 people every single week for the past 5 years. I will not be able to offer things like that anymore. And if you especially if you really liked this episode and you're like, yeah, I want to become a connector. I want to be somebody that can connect more everywhere I go. And I want to learn how to manage my social anxiety and my perfectionism. Come on over, come on in. Let's have a consult and let's talk about if this program is a great fit for you at this point in time. If it's not, I will direct you towards somebody that is a better fit for you, because not everybody is always appropriate for coaching. Sometimes people really need to process some trauma or work through some things in therapy first. And I always recommend just come up and show up for the consult, because I will tell you on that call flat out, hey, I don't think this is for you right now. Here's why. Here's a great resource instead. So come to the call, because this is going to be my last, we're approaching the second half of the year. This is going to be my last 6 months of doing coaching and in this way that I've been doing it. And so I want to work with you. If this matters to you, let's do it. Let's talk. You could sign up for a consult with the link down below here in the show notes. And if you are interested in social prescribing and you want to talk to me about it, send me a message. You find my information down below as well. But also, if you want me to come speak at your company about creating a culture of connection, about creating an environment where people feel like they belong, because that increases retention, that increases sales, that increases productivity. Seriously, belonging is no joke in what it does for businesses. So if you want that to come to your company, you can also go to my website, connectionwithjewel.com /speaking. And you can find the information there, fill out the form, and we will talk about how I can bring this to your company, because I'm so excited to be bringing this to more colleges. That's going to be so fun. But it's like helping colleges make their organizations more connective, which isn't a company, an organization, So anyway, that's what I have going on. Thank you so much for being here at the Socially Delightful Podcast. If this podcast meant something to you, it would mean so much to me if you gave me the gift of feeling seen and you left a review, and or if you messaged me with a topic that is important to you that you want to hear next. All right, take care, y'all.